Hey buddy, in this 54 News Start, and we're going to do our introduction into a simple construct 2 platformer game. Now, if you see my first video, you know the basic setup, and now we're going to do an actual simple construct 2 platformer. This will be for the PC, and then after I finish the PC version, I'll set up a one video on how to convert it from PC to a Android control setup, because in this game engine it's very easy to then import the controls for Android and then just play it. So I'm going to show you basically what we're going to do, and we're going to start from scratch. Okay, so I have three layouts. I have the menu, I have the layer, not layer, but not menu selection. It would be the level selection. We're gonna have layer level 1, 2, 3, 4, and continue on. Probably just 8, 12 levels, and then you can as soon as you finish one level, you can unlock the next level. If you have not unlocked, okay, level 1 will always be unlocked, but if you don't finish level 1, you cannot unlock level 2, that sort of thing. And then level 1 will be a very simple, more of an introduction into the game of, how much health you have, how many, dog bones you have collected, and then enemies killed. Oh, I need to put that in there. And then basically, I don't know if you can see this, but it's basically, I'm going to enlarge this, so hopefully you can see it. It's basically a very large dog bone that you need to collect. Basically, we're collecting huge gigantic dog bones, and I'll put a link to these sprites and game objects in the link below so that you guys can use them. I got them at opengameart.com, and if you go there, I'm sure you'll see these if you look under their 2D tab. But enough of that for now, and I'm going to pop this down, and I'm going to pop open a new construct 2, so we can continually go back for this so I can reference it for you guys. So I'll see you in 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, and we're back, and this is an empty construct 2 scene. I'm now gonna say new empty project with no new. Yeah, just basically it's blank. So we're gonna go back to the menu on this one, and I'm gonna say okay. My layout is just basically 720 by 480, so I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go into the other one, click on this little sky blue, go there, and then there we go. Now I chose that due to the fact that I want this is the menu. You cannot scroll around or anything like that. You're just going to see this. But what I also did was I go to project properties and I hit view, and I also place it there. The reason why is, hopefully you can see this, I'm going to zoom in actually, is that there's this little dotted line, and it's basically your view, what you can see at the time. Now normally it's just, okay, the character's there, you can start scrolling around. We want to enlarge what you can see, so we're going to go to view, window size, boom, and suddenly the dotted line disappears and we can see everything. Now, I'm going to start importing objects. Insert new object. We're going to insert a background. Go to doggy graphics. And actually, that's part of a different project, so I'm actually going to have to edit that image and save that image to doggy graphics. And I'm just going to save that as sky. I'll put a link to where I got the sky down below. Minimize that. And let's see, platform tutorial. Graphics, sky, there we go. So this is our sky, and as a tileable background image, we can just, size it up any size, but I'm gonna, size it to where it's just outside our view range. And then I'm going to go back here. So doggy days, we need that. So we're going to insert a new object, insert sprite, put a sprite there. And gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna go to properties on these things. Change that paint. Preview. There we go. View, medium icons. Okay, so now you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I don't have the logo here, so I'm gonna have to export that too. Edit animations, save. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm not recording on the usual computer that I build my games on. A room's being used by somebody else, so I have to use somebody else's computer. So we get Doggy Days right there, and then I need to export this button. And this button has 3 animations. Actually, it's 2. I just redid one. One's a button release, a button push, and a default. So basically, default when you enter the game, you push the button, and when you release the button. So I'm going to export those. So I'm going to have default. I'm going to, save that. 1 second, guys. I'm a little under the weather, so my brain's kind of going. Ugh. So, okay, so it's basically button default. Save that as PNG. Button push. Save that. Button push. Save that. And a button release. And you always want to label stuff, always. So insert new object, we insert a sprite, and then we're going to open that. And I'm going to do button default. And then we're going to add some animations. Rename button push. Add animation, button, release. So, okay, for the button push, we're gonna put in the one where it looks like it's being squashed. And the button release, it says basically button default, but I actually have a button push. Okay, now we're good there. We're gonna zoom in, control mouse wheel. And so we're gonna tell this thing. And the event sheet is basically where all the code goes. So we're going to actually do some coding now. Go to layout, click right, insert new object, and we actually want to do not touch control. That's if you're actually doing mobile devices. But you want a mouse, insert new object, and keyboard. So right click and import mouse control and keyboard. So it's basically mouse object click. We're going to click on what? Sprite 2. And then we need to rename this. Always name everything. I find it very good, especially when you have, Sprite 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're like, oh my goodness. So name it button, and then we're going to rename this one logo. Rename this one. I'm going to keep it tiled background, but I'm also going to do an underscore sky blue, so I actually know what this is. And then we're going to go to pop this up so we actually know the names. Go to event sheet, pull this out of the way so you guys can see. So, okay, default is always going to be button push, right? Yeah, default is not button push, but button up. And so on left click button, we want the set animation to be, we always want parentheses, and then just type in between them, button push, and play it from beginning. Done. And then basically we're going to copy this, but we're going to change some stuff. If it will copy. We have to just put it in again. So button, on button released, we want the button to set animation to button release. So basically what I find, another reason why I have this up is I would actually, before I did this, I would actually just copy paste button release. Done. I'm gonna X off this. So when we click on it, it's going to, it's default gonna look like basically button release. You know, it buttons up. When we click on it, it's going to be button push when the button's pressed down. And then when we release it, it's going to go back to button release. So actually, let's run the layout. So there we go. We are pushing it, and it's working now. And so we're going to X off that. And now our next thing to do is do another, we're going to just do a text now. Basically push play or something like that. Wrong item. Play. And then we want the font to be different. So I'm going to size it up to 22. And I'm going to go look for my fonts. Let's see. Agent Orange. Done. So it's showing. Okay, I'm just going to have to go back to... Let's size you up. Usually if it disappears like that, it just means it's gotten a little bit too big. And there's our play button, and so if we go home and we hit layout, run layout, and we just, we can still click it. But I want the font to be a little bit higher up, because it looks like it was off the button. There we go. Now we're good. Now, we want to add another layout. So you go over here, and you see the word layout with a little folder next to it. You click right, add layout. And it's going to pop up a little box saying, do you want to add an event sheet? You always want to add an event sheet, so each layout will have its own event sheet. Okay, now we're going to pop up the other game, and we're going to go layout 2, and we're going to copy the layout size, and then we're going to go back to this one, and if I'm right, yes, it's just the basic same layout. And then edit animations, and then we're going to save this thing. So it's this black faded background, and then blue button. Blue button. Alright. And in part 2, I'm going to show you more of the buttons, so when you actually finish it, it'll say check mark and all that stuff. Okay, so let's insert an object. Because my black background's not large enough, I'm going to do it as a sprite and then just stretch it, and then set it to the background. Okay, Z orders into the back, insert an object, and we at this point we're just gonna just basically deal with it as a button. So that's not why I'm not too worried. And the size of the button is 100 by 100. So we want 100 comma 100. There's the button. So we go to layout 1, we click this, and then we go to layout 2. Now we're going to go back to layout 1, go to event sheet, and it's basically when mouse on object clicked, and we could actually do it up here. But I'm actually going to show you both ways, just to make sure you understand. On object click, and we're going to click the button, done. Go to little gear and go to layout. And we want to go to layout 2, so done. So you could also do that here where it says add action. It says, we already have some like that. So we're going to go with this and just go to layout 2. So, and I actually prefer that, even though sometimes it does get kind of messy, I mean, it's always up to you. It's always to include another option as long as it's not going to mess up some other code. So, but here it's kind of joint objective. On object left clicked, put push button, and actually we could actually move it here because we want to see the animation of the button being clicked. So on object left clicked, set animation of the button to push. On release, though, we're going to go to layout 2, but we're also going to go to see the animation of the button release. So we're going to go to layout 1, and we're going to play the game. We're going to push it, but we could see the animation. See? Boom. So I kind of prefer that. So we're done with, layout 1 and event sheet 1. Now we're going to be working on layout 2 and event sheet 2. Basically, all we're doing here is very simple for right now in this part 1 tutorial is if mouse object clicked sprite 2 done, and actually we're going to set this as rename as level 1 button, because it's not actually level 1, it's telling us to go to level 1. We're going to actually just include another add layout, yes, add event sheet, and this is actually our first layer, our first level. So when we on left button clicked on level 1 button, we're going to go to system, go to layout, go to layout 3. So as soon as we click this, we're going to be done. So let's try out the whole thing. And dog days, push play, push button on that, and suddenly we're on level 3. No, not level 3, layer 3. And just, some things that you can add. Like here, I put some decoration in. And actually, I'm going to copy this. Copy. And then I'm just going to paste it here. Boom. So, it actually looks kind of pretty. Not pretty, but, it looks real. Like, you actually put some effort into it. Which people want to see when they play your game. Especially if it's a simple one. They say, okay, if it's simple, it must, the person must have put a lot of work into it to make sure it does play good. So hit play, and there's level 1, and we can put like a little level 1 font up. Or, because we're going to have like, 3 buttons across, and I'm thinking either 3 down or just 2 down. So like 8 levels. People are going to say, okay, that's, level 1, 2, and 3. Or you could have numbers on it. Like, for example, we can X off that. We can X off that. Like right here, what we can do is click right, insert new object, a text, place it right over there, and just put a Agent Orange 22 regular done, and then we can just put 1. But since that's kind of small, I'm actually going to increase this to maybe the 40s. Let's try 70. Okay, so it's just a wee bit too big. So I'm going to pop this to 64. And there we go, that's our size. It's a wee bit big, but it will actually fit for what I'm doing. So people know, oh, that's level 1. So we go to layer 1. We hit play. Dog days, play. Play. The font's a little off. Sometimes you gotta fix that. So we know it's level 1. Push play, level 1, boom. And on level 1, we're actually going to put some instructions so people know, basically what we're going to be doing. But that's it for this tutorial on, this part of the tutorial on how to do a platformer. On part 2, where I actually build the level, make things a little bit nicer, and then we're going to actually put in some character movement. So when the character moves, he actually moves around, and it's a platformer, and then that there's enemies, and then there are some, objects that he collects. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, and stay tuned for part 2. See you later, guys.